Ukraine's president has urged a summit of European Union leaders in Copenhagen to form a united front against Russia after a spate of troubling drone incidents in the continent. Speaking at a European political community event in the Danish capital, Zelensky warned that Russia is trying to divide Europe and encouraged cooperation from the European nations to prevent the drone incidents and plane incursions that occurred in EU and NATO countries recently.
The recent drone incidents across Europe are a clear sign that Russia still feels bold enough to escalate this war. And it was never just about Ukraine. Russia has always aimed to break the West and Europe in particular. Today, their strategy is simple: to divide Europe, to ignite arguments, to prevent us from finding common ground. And I believe we must do the exact opposite of what Russia expects. We must act together, and we must act with strength.
In his address at the European Political Community event, Zelensky not only urged for unity and cooperation, but also called for increased sanctions on Russia.
We must remember that the root of all these problems is Russia's war. Russia still has the resources to keep fighting, and that's not right. But we know the right steps. A 19th package of sanctions against Russia for the war is urgently needed. We also need to seriously think how to truly down Russia's entire oil trade infrastructure, because that's what fuels their war machine.
As leaders gather there for the high-stakes summit, what remains on the top of the agenda is European defense and the war in Ukraine. The summit follows a series of suspected airspace intrusions that have rattled Denmark, Poland and Estonia. The Danish Prime Minister, meanwhile, speaking at the European Political Community Summit there, said that Europe is currently facing a hybrid war. And the comments coming as European leaders gathered to discuss security challenges and cooperation within the continent.
Russia will not stop until they are forced to do so. And they are a threat, not only to Ukraine, but to all of us. Today we have one major task ahead of us. We have to make our common Europe so strong that the war against us becomes unthinkable. And we have to do it now.
Meanwhile, the meeting also offered the first opportunity for the leaders of the EU's countries to debate a proposal to use Russian assets frozen in Europe to find and also to fund a major loan to Ukraine. Some leaders voiced strong support for the idea, while others were more cautious. The Kremlin condemned the proposal as pure theft. The Polish and Hungarian prime ministers, meanwhile, openly disagreed on Russia as they arrived at the summit. Poland's leader saying it was clear which side his Hungarian counterpart was on in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. He listed recent incidents, including drone incursions, as examples of kinetic action by Russia. But Hungary's leader contested that economic stagnation and losing competitiveness were the greatest threats to Europe rather than Russia. Meanwhile, the European Council president confirmed that leaders have endorsed key flagship security initiatives, including plans for a European drone wall and an Eastern flank watch, as questions loom over the drone wall's utility. European Commission President has emphasized that protecting the continent's eastern flank closest to Russia will be a top priority. And at the same time, she clarified that the initiative is meant to serve as a shield for all of Europe. The Italian Prime Minister has cautioned against overlooking the EU's southern borders in this debate. The French President is calling for a unified continent-wide strategy to address the evolving drone threat. Whereas the German Chancellor, writing in the Financial Times, proposed an interest-free loan of nearly $164.53 billion for Kiev, financed by assets.